Hey y'all, it's Coach in the Fight here. I'm looking at this video. Now, this video is titled The Temple of the Most High, and I wanted to listen to it. I wanted you guys to listen to it with me. Uh-oh, I'm showing a bunch of wicked images. I got to get out of here. Golly, where I go right to that. Anyway, I'm going to change the speed up here to 1.5. I usually listen to stuff at 2, but I'm going to change it up here to 1.5, if you usually not listen to it. And ride with me here. I'm going to see if I can do some arrow hunt. Now, before I get started, I want to say to the author of this, this is pretty good work, or I wouldn't have looked at it at all. But, when we mix a lot of truth with even just a few misunderstandings, it tends to throw the whole thing off. So let's see if we can clear some of this up. We'll see if we can find them and go.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm Brother Jonas, and the title of this video is The Temple of the Most High. The Christian world says a third temple have to be rebuilt in Israel before Yahweh shall return. Is this true? No way. You would clearly see that this is a lie. The Christian world believe that the Antichrist will come and establish a 7-year peace treaty and construct the third temple before Yahweh shall return. That is a great deception. For we know that the people in Israel today are fake, imposters, phony as baloney, and are the synagogue of Satan. So why would the Most High have them build anything as holy as a temple? Many prophecies have been fulfilled, but the kingdom of Edom and his master Satan is trying to project false prophecies to the world to hide the true prophetic timeline. Doing that will cause Israelites to hit the snooze button and stay asleep and wake up too late to their own demise. As for the rest of the world, it will keep them asleep while the establishment continue to rule a little longer and prepare for the wrath of the Most High that is almost upon them.
All right, so I'm with him so far. Now, and so I just want to say that I am giving him credit. What's been said thus far. I am, I ain't gonna say total disagreement, total agreement with, but I haven't found any errors. Let's keep going though.
Christianity teaches once that the Antichrist come, then he shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week, as if it was a new covenant. Christianity believes he will create a 7-year peace treaty and build the temple. Then the 7-year tribulation period will begin.
Now, that right there was a good point. What he's talking about, this covenant, is, I had, understood it, in the way that, he's describing here too. I was in error, in the way or what I understood too. And so this was some light that he shared with me, and I wanted to give him credit for that, talking about how this covenant, is an old covenant. Go ahead.
If you Israelites wait for that lie, you will be further deceived, and you will be lost and destroyed. Newer translations say the Antichrist shall confirm a covenant with many for 1 week. The King James Version says he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week, meaning the covenant he is confirming or strengthening was made a long time ago.
Okay, now I'm with him so far. This is great information, thus far, up to 2 minutes and 48 seconds. We good. But, before we, can give a comment or hit the like button, we have to complete because, people will turn on you. Okay, watch.
And he is affirming his confederates are all in these last years. What covenant am I talking about? It's in Psalms chapter 83.
Okay, wrong. It's not in Psalms 83. Let's go over here and see if there's a covenant over here in Psalms 83. And we're going to keep this short, so we made this limited to this one right here. Psalms 83, King James Version. Let me go black.
Psalm 83, a song or psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also is joined with them. They have holpen the children of Lot, Selah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeeb, yea, all their princes as Zebah and as Zalmunna, who said, Let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. O my God, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth a wood, and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid with thy storm. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. Let them be confounded and troubled forever, yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Jehovah, art the Most High over all the earth.
Okay, that's the King James Version. So as you can see, there's no covenant there. There's a mention of some other stuff up there, like that word that he used, confederate with each other. But that's not the covenant. The covenant that he's talking about is, the book of the covenant. Let's look up the word covenant. Like I said, I want to keep this short. So let's just look what it says about the covenant. And we see here, we see that there is actually a covenant. There's, what do you say, my covenant, And that's not what we saw over there in Psalms 83, right? And so I'm just going down through here. You can pause these if you want, and take a look at these particular verses here. But we're still in Genesis, and there's covenants here. So, and what we learn is that there are actually 8 different covenants that were made with man, between contracts made between our Father and man since Adam. Adam, broke the first covenant when he made the, with the fruit there. He broke the first one. I ain't gonna say it was the first covenant, but he broke the first one, and then the covenant was broken with Abraham there too, right? But I'm just gonna show you that there's 280 different hits for the word covenant. Now, if you want to know which covenant it is before we get out of this, let's jump ahead just a little bit, because we still haven't got up to the covenant that we're under now, the covenant that we're talking about. And I agree with what he says, is that it does says that the covenant was made a long time ago. But if you look here in Exodus 19:5, you start seeing something that looks like a particular covenant, right? It says, Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. Now, when you start to look at this, you start to say, well, okay, well, if I want to be this peculiar people, then I need to know where is this covenant that he's talking about? Where is it? So I can, so I can obey it. How can you obey something I don't know where it's at? Well, this right here is actually at the beginning of it. 19 is where you really start hearing about the covenant, and the covenant actually starts in chapter 20, verse 1, with, guess what? The 10 Commandments. Now, we have classes out there on that, so you can get into that. But I did want to point that out about this video, what I'm saying? Add a little bit of, not a little bit, he had a lot of truth in there, but, you got to understand people's errors, and we're supposed to admonish our brother, so, and that's what this is. I hope there's no hard feelings or anything like that. Right here, you look in Exodus chapter 24, verse 7, this is the end of the covenant. See right here? And he took the book of the covenant. See that? Book of the covenant, which is what we just read. The book of, and then that's from, well, what was between the chapters 20 and 24, verse 7 is the book of the covenant. And I say that one more time. From Exodus 20 to chapter 24, verse 7 is the book of the covenant. And you look right here, he says, and he took the book of the covenant and read it in the audience of the people, which was, those 2 million people that were standing at the bottom of Mount Sinai, having just escaped from Egypt. And he said, all that the Lord has said will we do and be obedient. This is the people who said that. So this is the covenant. I just want to clarify that. I'm going to clarify that up. I'm going to keep this short. Praise the Lord for all that he does. Hermes Academy. Power, patience, continence, and faith. We teach virtue.